But it's like, where can you go and chill?
Not Atlanta.
Not Cali.
Not Cali.
Not New York.
Not New York. You gotta go like Ohio.
Not
somewhere.
Philly. Not Chicago.
Right.
Overseas passport gang. This is why I always thank 50, because 50 kept us alive.
Well,
Look, no guns. You go to Europe. You go to London.
They'll stab you.
You got to get stabbed. And I'm not glorifying that shit.
Good Doc, back again. Once again, let's lock in. Shout out to my brother Robert. Okay. So my brother Robert sends me this text message earlier today, and it had no context. It was just a link to this particular video that I'm going to play at the beginning of this particular video. Now, I don't know how many people have talked about it yet, but if they haven't, this is definitely going to stir the pot just a little bit more and show y'all just how big the passport community actually is, especially when we got people who are on a larger stage talking about it more so than just us in the YouTube travel community popping off about it or sounding off about it. Not sure how many of us actually are mentioned this video. There probably were a couple. I think I may have came across it one time or two, but nobody's made a video about it yet that I'm aware of. But Tony Yayo did an interview with Vlad TV, and for those of you who don't know who Tony Yayo is, he is a member of G Unit, or a former member of G Unit, I don't know, which was a group that was created by none other than 50, my boy Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. If you're not into the rap community, maybe these names mean nothing to you, but eventually you will understand where we're going. So my brother Robert sends me this video earlier today, a Vlad TV interview. Shout out to Vlad, definitely one of those that are heavy into the hip-hop culture, and he gets a lot of interviews with a lot of famous people. But Vlad does this interview with Tony Yayo. Now, I'm watching the interview. I want to remind you that my brother Robert sent this video with zero context. It was just a link. Okay? So I'm watching it, and I remembered earlier that I did mention to you guys in a video. It was kind of like glossed over a little bit, but I mentioned in a video that I had a planned trip down to Atlanta coming soon. So I thought he was sending me this video talk about how safe it may not be in Atlanta. That's what I was thinking in my head when he was having a conversation. But as you get to towards the end of the video, probably the clip that I'm going to use for this video, I started and I realized that Tony Yayo had a chain on with a glossed out, blinged out passport on it, and the shit opened up. I couldn't see what was written on the inside of it, but the damn thing opens up like a legit passport. And then he basically says, as he was talking about the violence and crime that is happening in the United States, more so happening in the major cities here in the United States, your Atlantas, your New Yorks, LA, you know, the recent incident with the rapper that I told you about that ended up losing his life because he ate at a restaurant in probably a bad part of town. So you see all the violence happening in these big cities, and he basically said toward the end of this video, you know, that's why we travel, or that's basically the reason we're going abroad, the reason we're going overseas. It's a hell of a whole lot safer overseas than it is in the United States. And again, this is part of the passport community, and this is one of the things that we don't necessarily talk about as much as we need to when it comes to this particular community and the benefits and the value that come with this community, right? You know, everybody thinks it's about the females, and I keep saying this and I keep reiterating this point in my videos because at the end of the day, you got to understand it's a little bit more than that. There's a little bit more that goes into it than just about the females, right? There's peace of mind, tranquility, and all of the like. Yes, the females is probably one of the bigger talking points, but again, there's a whole lot more to the passport community than just dating abroad because women in the West ain't really rocking like they used to, or it's just not the same, the modern women, whatever. You know, there's a lot of reasons why guys travel, and that just seems to be the main talking point, but nobody really talks and harps on the fact that it is a whole lot safer overseas than it is in the United States for a lot of us, right? He was talking about if you go to places like Europe or the UK, you know, they got to come up on you and stab you rather than shoot you. Maybe that's not necessarily perpetuating the fact that it's safe, but in my time spent in the Philippines, I never felt my life in danger at any given moment in time. I understand that there are certain areas that people choose not to go, and for good reason, because you can't always co-sign for those areas. I can take myself as an example. I lived in Davao City. Davao City is a small city in the whole Mindanao region, right? So it goes Davao City, Davao region, Mindanao region. So if I had to draw a little circle, Davao City, A circle on the outside of that, Davao region. A circle on the outside of that represents all of Mindanao. I cannot vouch for all of the Mindanao region, right? No different than my guys who go to Brazil. They can't vouch for all of the favelas that are around the area. Maybe those aren't safe places to travel. You feel me? But in reality, where I lived at in Davao City, it was, in my opinion, one of the safest places I've ever lived and probably will ever live. And to keep it a buck with you, it ranked in as like one of the top 5 or top 7 safest cities, I want to say, in the world. Maybe I'm wrong with that one, but it definitely had a high ranking in reference to how safe it was. So for me, traveling and living abroad and stuff like that, I felt a whole lot safer living overseas than I did in the United States. Yes, you're still gonna have people that be like, oh man, these people go out there, they gonna rob you, bro. They go take all your money, you foreigners, they try to target foreigners, they kidnap foreigners, and they take foreigners and stuff. And I'm not gonna say that does not happen. I will never say that it hasn't happened. But what I will say is those incidents are few and far between. Mainly because where I lived at, the people were scared shitless of what would happen to them if they did something to foreigners. A lot of people don't understand that part of the politics, right? Especially in a place like the Philippines, where in tourism is their big money, right? Tourism is their big money. And they don't want anything bad happening to the foreigners that choose to travel to these particular areas, right? So they're going to try their best to give foreigners that peace of mind to continue bringing their foreign money, spending their foreign money in this foreign country, buying up the pesos and spending their pesos within the country. They're going to keep that coming. So you can only imagine what people would do to the people, the local people who would actually try to cause harm and or rob the foreigners. If something like that happened, these people lose their lives. They lose a hand. They're going to lose something, right? Because they don't play. Especially in Davao. Davao is heavily militarized to an extent. I want to say that's the right word, but they got a lot of cops and a lot of military in there because, of course, it's the Mindanao region. Again, another one of the reasons I felt safe, right? So as a foreigner living in that particular city, I can vouch for that. Now, there's certain areas in the Davao region, right, that I've been before, but I wouldn't go by myself, right? And then especially in the Mindanao region, there are probably some places that I would not recommend you go. A, because I've never been there, and B, I've just heard that maybe this ain't quite the place that you would probably want to spend, a little bit of time. As I was saying, guys, I can vouch for Davao City. I just can't vouch for every area in the Davao region or even the Mindanao region. And I think that any foreign passport brother who has ever traveled will actually tell you the exact same. So, I'm watching this interview and I'm listening to this particular clip, and it brings a smile to my face, right? It does bring a smile to my face because at the end of the day, the passport brethren, this is a lifestyle that I think a lot of people can get behind. And even if the main talking point isn't about the women in general, if the talking point is, yo, it's really safe over here, or it's a safer place than probably you would find in any major city here in the United States, I do believe that will get a lot of people's attention, right? Probably far more than you would ever believe. So on top of feeling safe or being able to live in a safer area where, as a foreigner, you don't necessarily feel like you're going to get targeted every time you go out. And, I can be surrounded by beautiful women. My money goes a little bit longer than it would in the United States. If you start to compile that shit on top of each other, peace and tranquility, beautiful women, my money goes a whole lot longer than it does in the United States. So, my money's a little bit better in these foreign countries than it is in the United States. All of a sudden, you really start to see exactly why a lot of people are choosing this lifestyle. It ain't the worst of lifestyles, y'all. I'm going to keep it a buck. It is not the worst of lifestyles to lead, right? Don't get me wrong. Proud to be where I'm from. I say it all the time because I don't want you to think that fuck the United States, fuck all this bullshit. No, I like being from here because being from here has given me the opportunity to see other places and have other opportunities that otherwise I may not have had the opportunity to do. Right? So you never want to sit there and, condemn shit, just have to take it for what it is and utilize it the best of your abilities. Take what you have now, and take it to the next level. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Tony Yayo. Shout out to other celebrities who are now in a position to really talk about what traveling has done for them. I mean, you've had far more celebrities traveling than us regular folk, but in reality, when it's us regular guys talking about how we were able to get abroad and we look like the people that are trying to get into the travel community, not so much somebody who's already made it, somebody who's like millionaires and, you know, tens of millions in the bank and stuff like that, but they're regular people like you and me who got regular jobs, who do what we do best, and we can still find a way to get abroad and have great, profound, fundamentally the greatest experiences of our lives. I think people will start to listen and pay attention. Like, yo, if he can do it, I can do it too. Because I know, A, I look better than that motherfucker, and B, I got more money than him. That's what I feel like a lot of people who watch The Good Doc, that I want to be your motivation in that regard. Because I'm pretty sure you make more money than me. And I'm pretty sure half of y'all think y'all look better than me. So if you look better and you make more money, ladies and gentlemen, if I could do it, trust me, you could do it too. All right, not gonna spend too much time on it, man. I appreciate y'all locking in. It's been a good doc. If you want to support the content in any way, shape, or form, you already know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you button down at the corner. Cash App, PayPal. I appreciate it if you want to. But like I said, man, I will settle for a like. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Likes are free. Y'all take care, man. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc's out. Peace.